I'm just out skiing at the moment. It's about -5 degrees, but it's actually raining. I'm getting covered in solid ice, and when we were driving here, the windscreen on the car was getting covered in ice, and that's because this freezing rain was hitting it and freezing on impact. It's about -7 degrees, but what you might be able to see, zooming in on the street lamp over there, is that it's actually drizzling, it's raining, and it's been drizzling most of the day. And that might seem a bit weird because it's -7 degrees, but somehow it's managing to rain with real rain. Well, the reason for that is because the air up high above us at about 1,400 meters is above zero, a few degrees above zero in fact. And so what's happening is that precipitation's coming down and it's melting up there, and it's not able to refreeze before it gets down to the ground, so it's falling as liquid droplets. And what that means is that throughout the day today, we've been getting covered in solid ice, and the car has been getting covered in solid ice, and we've been having to scrape the car every sort of 20 minutes or so. And when you're driving, the windscreen is getting covered in ice as you're going along. So what I've done is I've put a little pot here, just on the patio, and hopefully that's going to cool down now to the ambient temperature, -7, and then as this drizzle is hitting it, it's going to hopefully freeze and create a little layer of ice that we'll be able to see. So we'll come back in a few hours and see how that's got on. So this is a reading taken from a weather balloon that was released today at about midday from Trondheim, which is quite close to here. And what you can see on it, crucially, is that the temperature starts off at 0, it drops below 0 first, and then it goes and climbs up above 0 to 2 degrees, as you can see there, and then it drops off again and goes back down below 0 as you'd expect. This line here is the 0 degree line. What I've done now is I've just taken off the skew T, so 0 degrees is now a straight line up and down this graph. And what you can see is that there's a definite drop below 0 and then an increase above it just here. That climbs up to about 2 degrees there, before again dropping back below 0, as I say, about 1,400 meters. So there is some proof that actually the air above us right now is warmer than 0 degrees, and that is why we're getting freezing rain all day today. Okay, so it's been out for about 3 hours now-ish. So what you can see is lots of little drops, and yep, they're definitely frozen. There are definitely lots of little drops on there, and they're definitely frozen. Unfortunately, the rain actually calmed down a bit after I put it out there, so there's not as much on there as I'd hoped. But there is still quite a bit, and you can hear how crunchy that is. All those little droplets are solid ice on there. And that's happening on every surface out here. And when we were out skiing earlier, it was happening on our coats and in our hair, and obviously on the car windscreen as you're driving. And you imagine this is just drizzle. Think about it when it's heavy rain and you get thick layers of ice forming and everything. It's a couple of days on now since we had the freezing rain, and I'm down on the lake, and something interesting has happened to all of the snow because of the freezing rain, and that is on the very, very top surface. It's essentially frozen solid, so you can kind of pick out a sheet of kind of ice on the top of the snow all around, and the whole thing has that. So as you're walking through, you're breaking through that crust, so you've got like a hard crust on top, and underneath is the softer snow, and as you walk, you break through that hard crust. You can look at that. So that's where that freezing rain has landed on top, and frozen solid.